Jaylin, as someone who loves to play physical, what's it been like having Kenrich back? Because it seems like there's a little amping up of that when he gets on the floor too.
Yeah, I think just having K-Rich back, just his vibe, the intensity he brings, the energy he brings, even if he's not playing, just the energy he brings off the court, like it just changes everything.
What's been going right with you all this last, I think you won 8 out of 9. It just seems like despite even the final outcomes, you guys are just playing to your identity for longer and longer stretches. Why do you think that is?
I think that we know our identity. We always attack the problem with 5, regardless of what it is. We play together. We want to see each other succeed. We want to win and see everybody do good, and I think that's why we're having success right now.
Jaylin, Slam posted a side-by-side of you and Isaiah Joe last week, just how far you guys have come. But for you and your eyes, just what is it like to see all this unfold and for you guys to be here at this point playing together?
Honestly, it's awesome. For me, it's the bigger picture. It's us being able to show the kids that where we're from, that you can make it out. You might be on a team with somebody. You can do what we did. We went through the same Boys and Girls Clubs. We went to the same park, same schools. And really, for me, it's just showing those kids back at home and from Arkansas that they can make it out going through the same spots we did.
Jay, well, you guys had 12 blocks in that last game, and then you had 4 charges taken in the second half alone. Just the versatility of the rim protection on this team just seems to keep growing. Just what's that like being a part of that, and obviously a guy who takes a lot of charges himself?
Yeah, we have a Chet on defense, first off, with the blocks. Yeah, Chet, everybody on this team trusts him to be down low to clean up everything and block those shots. And then I feel like as a team, we have a lot of guys that are willing to put their body on the line to do whatever it takes to get the win for the team and do those small things.
And for you guys, the second unit's just been so strong over these last few games. And it's been different guys stepping up, like 5 different guys have scored in double figures over that stretch. Just what's it like looking around that second unit and realizing it could be any one of us tonight that help, bring a big spark?
Yeah, I think with our team, everybody stays ready. You might not know when your moment is or what you got to go out there and do. I think everybody's just going to go out there and play hard, whatever the team needs, and everybody that's out there is willing to do whatever it takes.
Isaiah's hit 20 of his last 27 from 3. You have a Isaiah Joe hot streak story from high school of being this hot?
It doesn't surprise me one bit. Zay used to shoot the ball one step past half court, and I think he went on a streak where he made like 86 free throws straight in high school, and I'm not surprised. I knew Zay could do this, and with the confidence and the ability to shoot that he has, I don't think anybody's surprised that he's out there doing that.
He said earlier this year that in the offseason, he practiced coming off the bench cold and being able to hit shots. Like, what do you remember about maybe some of his work ethic from those days and long, hot summer, gym sessions and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so when I got to Northside, he was a senior, and that was really my first time realizing like what it takes to be what I want to be in life. And he was the Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year, and I was seeing him like work out in the morning before school, go home and shower, come back to school, then we would practice, then he would shoot after practice, and come back at night after practice, shoot again. So just seeing him shoot like that, and like that's really what gave me my first look at seeing what I wanted to be in life and like showing me what it takes to be as good as he was.
Is he allowed to shoot one step past half court? They were like, go for it?
When you can shoot the way Zay can shoot, you can shoot from a step behind half court.
Josh said that you call yourself a lob threat. Now, that seemed like a dig, but how would you rank this roster's lob threats?
I think that we have a lot of lob threats on this team. We know who's all the lob threats. We got O, we got Chet, you got Dub. I feel like a lot of guys can catch lobs, and I think I'm slowly stepping into that. I'm slowly stepping into that conversation a little bit in practice, but yeah, I feel like we got a lot of lob threats.
Leaping into that conversation, Jay.
Yeah, leaping.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Good. Y'all have a good day.
Josh, you guys have the 76ers coming in. What are your most important key points going into that matchup, just given their size and their veteran presence?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of the game plan's focused around, as usual, we've got 2 or 3 guys, and Embiid and Maxey are those guys for us. Obviously, Embiid is going to be a collective effort. Obviously, Chet's going to do a job on him, but those type of talents revolve, help and showing bodies, and we're going to do that. And I think we've got guys that are up for the challenge. Lou, obviously, do his part on the defensive end. But to stop these teams, they get out in transition, they run. It's got to be a collective effort. We have to get back and try to slow them down and play them in the half court. And I think when we can get our defense set, I rate it against anybody in the league, and I back our guys in to get stops and make them take tough shots.
Just the pressure. I mean, Maxey will shoot it from 35 feet. The pressure that puts on you all. How important has the communication been with your group so far this season?
Yeah, very. I mean, especially with the lineups that we have a lot of guys that are like size that can switch. Sometimes we go 1 through 5 depending on who's out there. So communication's key, and not just for on the ball, but when we're in rotations, when they make extra passes, to get guys to rotate out. So communication's been a big, point of emphasis for us, and I think it's gotten better. And the more games we continue to play, it's going to get better.
You mentioned the defense of this team over the last few games. Just what about the defense are you guys most proud of? Is it the physicality, the competitiveness, the focus on the game plan? Just what are you guys most proud of on that end?
Yeah, I think anytime you execute a game plan, it feels good. Whether you win the game or lose the game, you do the right things, you play the right way. It's a good feeling, and I think we've obviously been on the end of more wins than losses. And anytime you don't execute the game plan and win, in a sense, you steal a game. So it's obviously we spend time scouting teams, watching film, just like everybody else does. And when you can come out and put that scout into 48 minutes of game time, it gives you every chance to win a ball game. And we've been good on that end of the floor. I think a lot of the scout obviously revolves around the defensive end, but when you can slow these talented players up, it makes their team resort to other options, and I think that's a win in our hands.
Per game you guys have had this year, you had 20 plus assists. That streak is at 20 going back to last year. What's been working for you guys to really move the ball and get at each other involved? Yeah, I mean, it's an unselfish team. The group wants to share the ball, give up good shots for great shots, and I think a lot of it starts with Shea. He gets 2 guys on him a lot, and he gets off the ball quickly and puts teams in rotations. And it helps having elite shooters out there. Isaiah's obviously shooting the ball really well. Chet stretches the floor, so it helps having great personnel. But I think it speaks volumes to the guys. It's an unselfish team, and guys want to give up good shots for great shots.
We've seen a lot of lobs every game this season, and I thought we're practicing the lob right now. And are you not comfortable throwing the lob yet?
I mean, I never really played with a love threat. Besides obviously Chet now. Jay will claim he's a love threat, but we never really had a chance to do it. So, obviously that things take time, and lobs have never been my forte. I've never really done it through them in my life, and it's something new I'm trying to learn. But once I get better at throwing them, I'm sure, especially with a guy like Chet, you can kind of put it anywhere around that cylinder, and he'll go take care of it.
Yeah, it seems like you prefer the bounce pass.
Yeah, I mean, right. I think that's just what I'm comfortable with now, and but as I said, over time I'll practice it more, and then we'll start to implement it a bit more.
Josh, what's been most impressive just about the way this team has approached each game? I mean, the Golden State game obviously had its ups and downs, but then you guys handled business in Portland, and then this last game, so unique, you had to hold them off in the fourth quarter there. Just what's been the most impressive thing about this team's approach to games?
Yeah, I think, it doesn't matter who we're playing. You play, the best team in the league, a team that hasn't won a lot of games, the approach is the same, and we understand how important every game is, and not just in the sense of wins and losses, but getting better as a group. And there's things, good and bad things, to take away from every game. And guys have had the right approach, irrespective of who we're playing, where we're playing, back-to-back or not. We've come in with the mentality of playing 48 minutes and winning games. And I think it's credit to the team. It hasn't always been like that, where we've been able to back up. We come off a great win, an overtime win in Golden State, and then have to back it up again, a night later. So we kind of speak about that 0-0 mindset, where the next day you turn the page and you get ready for what's ahead of you.
As a young guy who hasn't seen that many wins in the first few years, is it sometimes hard to deal with that early success?
Yeah, it is, because obviously, my rookie year we didn't win a lot of games. Last year, we were better than a lot of people thought we were going to be. But obviously this year, with the early success that the team's having, it's different. I guess when you come into a lot more games expected to win. But I think the group's done a great job of not letting external noise and pressure and expectations get to us and affect the way we approach the game and the way we come in and work every day. So again, credit to the guys. It's easy to get caught up in that stuff, but they've kept their heads down and worked the right way and gone about each game the right way.
You guys have to kind of keep reminding yourselves, like, job's not done and you haven't really done anything yet.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're 15 games into the season or whatever it is, and you win some early games now, but it means nothing, in the long run. So we've got to be able to stack, good days, good games together, and then, over time, hopefully these habits and things start to grow, and we get, stronger as a team and keep developing and just keep heading in the right direction.
You've got a really hot stretch shooting the ball. What's kind of gone into that?
Isaiah Joe. We're going into that a lot. He shot the ball really well, obviously, and as I said, guys, I think a lot of it becomes with generating good shots, and we've obviously passed up a lot of good shots for better shots, and it's just one of those times, and it's not always going to be like that where you're making, we're shooting the ball as well as we are. There's going to be games where we don't make many threes, and we might lose the game, we might win the game. So you can't get too caught up in what happens over a 3, 4, 5 game sample size, because the season's 82 games, and there's going to be highs and lows, and just doubling down on what you trust and what your system is, and eventually things will pan out the way you want them to.
Was J-Dub able to do much for you in practice today, and what's the status for tomorrow?
Out tomorrow, and nothing in practice today. So.
You guys, the defense for you all has been just so stout over the last 6 games or so. Just I was talking to Josh about whether it's the defensive execution, the focus, the competitiveness, just what this group is most proud of. What stands out to you about the way you guys have defended over the last 6 games?
There's always a shot-making element, and I think opponents have shot below expectation this season a little bit. So you have to factor that in, because there's going to come a time where opponents shoot better and you're defending pretty well, and we'll point to it then as well. But in terms of our process, pretty good intensity, good attention to detail with the game plan, good physicality. I think we've just done a good job of ticking forward in some small areas. I actually thought in the Chicago game we had some slippage in our help defense and in our rotations. We were as sloppy in that part of the game as we've been really all season, and that's one of the main drives that we went through today is trying to get that cleaned up, because not only tomorrow, but our next 3 or 4 opponents are going to be teams that are going to require great help and then great rotations out of that help.
And just part of that defense is the rim protection. And in Chicago, you had 12 blocks, but then in the second half, you had 4 charges drawn. Just what do you make of the versatility of the rim protection of this team so far?
Yeah, I mean, we just have to have a rim protection identity regardless of who's down there. Mm-hmm. Different guys are going to be down in the bottom part of the floor at different times, and if it's Chet or Olivier, those guys can obviously go and contest. There's verticality guys, there's charge takers. Sometimes you got to give a hard foul, but we need to be in the play down there.
Last year, when you would talk about the offense, you would talk about how they were doing the right things and playing the right way, and even if it wasn't sometimes leading to success. This year, every game over 20 assists. That streak is 20 going back to last season. Is that the process of you guys just continuing to play the right way?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like an end goal to have a certain number of assists, because obviously the shot going in has something to do with that, but we want to play a certain way. Like I've said with a lot of other things, it's been years in the making now in terms of the identity that we're trying to build and the way that we want to play on both ends of the floor. And as we've gained more experience with our players in the system, and we've gained more continuity, and we've added obviously good players over time, that stuff is starting to come together. But what's put us in the position that we're in is that we've gotten better to this point, and now we've got to have the discipline to continue to get better through all the ups and downs of an 82-game season.
Kind of to piggyback off that, how much do you adapt the system to the players that you've brought in? Because obviously you're kind of a better shooting team now than you are. Do you adapt the system to that, or does it kind of naturally, seamlessly go along?
I think it's the system. When we say system, it's like spacing the floor, cutting, how we play inside of actions, making quick decisions on the catch. That's the system, and then each player's identity, their individual style of play, can fit into that, regardless of what their strengths are, and that's where it's adaptive. We're not coming in training camp and changing those things. Those are like foundational pillars of the way that we want to play on offense. But how Cason Wallace, exists inside of that ecosystem is different than how Chet does, is different than how Shea does, is different than how Dub does. And that's where it probably seems like things are being adapted, but really it's just our players expressing their strengths inside of what we're doing.
Lewis talked about mixing and matching his overs and unders with, and with a guy like Maxey coming in who's going to shoot it from deep. What have you noticed about maybe Lou's judiciousness with those decisions, and when it makes sense for him to do it?
Is judiciousness a conscious thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of judiciousness then.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just got a great instincts. He's got unbelievable instincts. on the play in terms of just navigating the screens. And I think one of the things that he does well is it ends up mixing looks. So if you're playing against him, you're not getting the same dose every single possession. And that's against the really good players. You can't just throw the same pitch the entire game for 48 minutes because those guys adapt. And they've got solutions for everything. Like DeRozan's played a million games, seen every coverage, seen every defender. So if you give him the same thing the entire game, Embiid's the same way tomorrow. Like if you give him the same thing in the first quarter and the first possession as you do on the 10th and 20th and the last possession, they're going to solve the puzzle. So you want to present a puzzle that's hard to solve, and Lou does that obviously.